Money is everything, he often told his friends. With money, I can get any woman I want. Samuel, a young Lagos businessman, believed that money could buy everything: respect, power, and most importantly, happiness. With his luxury cars, designer suits, and an apartment in Lekki, he lived the life many could only dream of. But deep down, he felt an emptiness he couldn't explain. And he did. When he met Loveth, a stunning beauty with a taste for luxury, he was convinced he had found love. They dined at expensive restaurants, took exotic vacations, and attended the most exclusive parties. Loveth enjoyed every bit of Samuel's wealth, and he was happy to provide. But real love? Samuel never questioned it. Until it was too late. As time passed, his lifestyle became more about maintaining appearances than genuine happiness. Every night, he attended events filled with fake smiles and empty conversations. The more he spent, the more validation he sought from people who only cared about his bank account. His mother, Mama Samuel, often warned him, "Son, money is good, but it is not everything. Find someone who loves you for you." Samuel would laugh. "Mama, I am fine. You worry too much." But deep down, he didn't feel as fine as he claimed. The pressure to sustain his lifestyle grew, and with each new extravagant purchase, the hole in his heart deepened. One fateful evening, at a high-profile gala, Samuel overheard Loveth speaking with her friends. "He thinks he's special because he has money," she said, laughing. "If he ever goes broke, I'm gone." Samuel's heart sank, but he shook it off. He was successful, and there was no way he would ever go broke. Just as Samuel was making bigger plans, his business took a hit. A major investment failed, leaving him in debt. He expected his friends to stand by him, but one by one, they disappeared. "Bro, things are tight now," his closest friend, Jide, said when Samuel asked for help. "I wish I could help, but..." The same people who once begged for his attention now avoided him. Calls went unanswered, and messages were ignored. Even his business partners distanced themselves, not wanting to be associated with someone facing financial troubles. But the biggest blow came from Loveth. "This isn't the life I signed up for," she snapped when he told her about his struggles. "I can't be with a broke man, Samuel." And just like that, she left. Samuel stood in disbelief as she packed her bags. "After everything, Loveth?" She scoffed. "You should have been smarter with your money." The door slammed, leaving Samuel alone in his once vibrant apartment. Reality hit him hard. The luxury he had once flaunted was now a burden. Rent, unpaid loans, and business losses piled up, forcing him to make a painful decision. He left Lekki and moved back to the trenches, the very place he thought he had escaped forever. With no money, no friends, and no one to turn to, Samuel returned to the small, overcrowded neighborhood where he grew up. Life was hard. He struggled to eat, and the same people who once looked up to him now mocked him. "See his rich man Don turn church rat," a neighbor whispered as he passed by. Samuel swallowed his pride and searched for work. But without his former status, doors remained closed. The same businesses he once helped now refused to employ him. His frustration grew, but giving up wasn't an option. One evening, as Samuel sat outside, lost in thought, he met Amara. Unlike Loveth, Amara was simple, kind, and full of life, despite her humble background. She noticed his sorrow and offered him a plate of food. "You look troubled," she said. "Eat, you'll feel better." At first, Samuel was hesitant. He wasn't used to accepting help. But hunger won, and as he ate, something about Amara warmed his heart. She wasn't interested in his past or his money. She simply saw a man in need and wanted to help. That night, for the first time in a long time, Samuel felt hope. Days turned into weeks, and Samuel and Amara became friends. She listened without judgment as he shared his story. "I was so blind," he admitted. "I thought money was everything." Amara smiled. "Money is important, but love and kindness matter more." Her words resonated with him. Unlike Loveth, who vanished when the money disappeared, Amara's presence felt genuine. With her encouragement, Samuel decided to start again. Every great man starts from somewhere, she reminded him. He took on small jobs, something he never imagined doing before. He worked at a local mechanic shop during the day and helped in a bakery at night. It was tough, but Amara stood by him. "You have potential, Samuel," she said. "Don't let your past define you." Slowly, his confidence returned, and he started thinking about rebuilding his life. Samuel began to see life differently. He realized that the people who stayed during hard times were the real treasures in life. He also saw how easily wealth could blind a man to true happiness. "I was chasing the wrong things," he admitted to Amara one night. Amara smiled. "Now you have a chance to chase the right ones." One day, while working at the bakery, Samuel met an old client who was surprised to see him there. "I always admired your business mind," the man said. "I have an opportunity you might be interested in." It was a small investment, but it was all Samuel needed to rise again. With renewed focus and determination, Samuel threw himself into his new business venture. The small investment he received from his old client turned out to be the break he needed. He worked tirelessly, managing every aspect of the business with care and caution. Unlike before, when he was reckless with money, he now understood the value of every naira earned. Months passed, and Samuel's business began to thrive. He expanded his ventures into different industries: import and export, real estate, and technology. His disciplined approach and commitment to excellence made him one of the fastest-growing entrepreneurs in Lagos. This time, he stayed away from unnecessary extravagance and fake friendships. One evening, as he sat in his new office, reflecting on his journey, his secretary walked in. "Sir, there's a woman here to see you. She says it's urgent." Samuel looked up, surprised. "Who is she?" The secretary hesitated. "She says her name is Loveth." Samuel's heart skipped a beat, but he quickly regained composure. "Let her in." Moments later, Loveth walked into the office, looking completely different from the glamorous woman he once knew. She wore a modest dress, her face lacked the usual glow, and her eyes held a trace of desperation. "Samuel," she began, her voice softer than he remembered. "I've missed you." Samuel leaned back in his chair, studying her. "Have you?" Tears welled up in her eyes. "I made a mistake. I should never have left you. I was foolish, and I see that now. Please, Samuel, give me another chance." He let out a small laugh. "Loveth, when I needed you the most, you left. You didn't just leave, you made sure I knew that I wasn't good enough for you without money." "I was blinded by material things," she whispered. "But I've changed. I just need a chance to prove it." Samuel shook his head. "It's too late." Loveth reached out, touching his hand. "Please, I still love you." He pulled away. "You loved my money, not me. Now that I have it again, do you think you can come back and pick up where we left off?" "No, Loveth. I've learned what real love is." Her shoulders slumped as she realized he was serious. "So, there's no hope for us?" Samuel sighed. "No. I've moved on." Loveth wiped a tear and stood up. "I understand." She walked towards the door, but paused. "I hope you find true happiness." He watched her leave, feeling no bitterness, only relief. He had finally closed the chapter of his past. With Loveth out of his life, Samuel's thoughts turned to the woman who had truly loved him, Amara. She had stood by him when he had nothing, yet he had lost touch with her in the chaos of rebuilding his life. He needed to find her. He returned to the old neighborhood where they had once spent time together, but she was no longer there. The landlord told him she had moved out months ago. Determined, Samuel searched everywhere, asking old neighbors and mutual acquaintances. Days turned into weeks, and he started to lose hope. Had she moved too far away? Had she married someone else? One afternoon, while visiting a small restaurant in Suralere, he overheard two women talking. "That Amara girl is doing well at the community center," one said. "She's helping so many children." Samuel's heart raced. Could it be the same Amara? He approached them. "Excuse me, are you talking about Amara, slim, dark-skinned, always smiling?" The women exchanged glances, before nodding. "Yes, do you know her?" A smile spread across his face. "Where is this community center?" Samuel arrived at the community center, a modest but lively place where children played and women worked hard to support one another. And there, in the middle of it all, was Amara, wearing a simple gown, her hands covered in flour as she taught a group of children how to bake. For a moment, he just watched her. She looked happier than ever, full of life and purpose. Seeing her again confirmed what he already knew, she was the one. Taking a deep breath, he walked up to her. "Amara." She turned, eyes widening in shock. "Samuel?" He smiled. "It's been a long time." She wiped her hands on her apron. "I heard you were doing well again." "I am. But something was missing." He stepped closer. "You." She blinked, unsure of what to say. "Me?" "Yes, Amara. I searched everywhere for you. I had money again, but I wasn't happy. Not without you." Tears welled in her eyes. "I never expected you to come back." He took her hands. "I was lost before, but you helped me find my way. Will you give me another chance?" Amara looked into his eyes, searching for sincerity. Then, slowly, she nodded. "Yes." Samuel pulled her into a tight embrace, whispering, "I will never take you for granted again." And at that moment, he knew he had finally found true happiness.